Hey everyone, welcome back to Tent Talk. This is a show all about farmers markets. Whether you're a farmers market manager, a farmer, or a food producer selling at farmers markets, or just a curious farmers market shopper, this is the podcast for you. How do you get along with your farmers market neighbors? Are they big supporters or do they resent all the activity? On today's episode of Tent Talk, we talk with the team from Waypoint Public, a local restaurant that shares their storefront with a busy weekly farmers market. Hey, I'm Bridget Myers. I am one of your co-hosts, and I'm an on-site farmers market manager and education coordinator for Intense Business.
And I'm Kat Fields-White, Director of San Diego Markets, still an active farmers market manager, and founder of Intense Business. Our third co-host, Justine Marzoni-Mead, who you've been listening to through, 40-some episodes? Is out doing fabulous PR things. She's promoting the hottest local restaurants with an amazing San Diego PR firm. She's kind of left us in the dust.
Too busy for us. Just kidding. Justine loves us.
Justine still loves us.
She still loves us.
And she still edits the podcast, and she'll be back from time to time to help interview our guests.
Yeah, and she's still going to be producing and editing these podcasts for us. So she's still on our team. She can't get away that easy.
That's right. We'll never let her go.
That's right.
Today we have John Connie and Justin Colmar of Waypoint Public, a popular restaurant in San Diego's hip North Park neighborhood. John and his team opened Waypoint in 2013 with top chefs in the kitchen, an impressive craft beer program, and a children's play area. In 2016, the North Park Farmers Market relocated to the street directly in front of Waypoint with almost 80 farm, food, and craft booths lining the street every Thursday afternoon and evening. The market and the restaurant have been neighbors for 3 years now, and we want to check in and see how that's going. John, were you surprised to see the farmers market open right in front of your door, or had somebody prepared you for that?
Honestly, I don't feel like I had a lot of preparation for it. I think it just kind of showed up there. But, I could be recalling that poorly as well.
And it's possible we talked to Rich Sweeney.
You
who was
did.
your
You
chef
probably
at the
did
time.
talk to Rich Sweeney.
Yeah, and he was an excited chef at the time in terms of farmers markets and things.
Absolutely. And I am very excited about farmers markets. I love farmers markets personally. I love them as a business owner as well, in terms of just what they do for a community and what they bring to the table. But yeah, I was a little surprised. I didn't have an opportunity to participate in the discussion really, or make any suggestions as to how it might work. And at the same time, I didn't have any experience with having a farmer's market at my front door. So it was something that just needed to happen.
Right.
And we'd see how it played out.
So if you had an opportunity to provide suggestions, what would you have suggested?
Yeah, it's tough to say, actually. Honestly, I think that I don't have a lot of great ideas as to how to really make both the businesses that are set next to the farmers market and the farmers market work together. But we've been creative, I think, in doing some of the obvious stuff. I mean, we are a farm-to-table type of restaurant, so utilizing the farmers market at our front door is obviously a great opportunity, and something we've done, and something we have fun with. I mean, from when Rich was with the restaurant, Justin now.
Because we had Rich do demos, and then you had another chef, a woman that did demos for a while. Elise, that's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we were with North Park Market back then when we moved it, so we're the ones that landed that monster on your doorstep.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then you left.
and then we left.
Yeah.
They're doing a good job over there.
Yeah.
Still busy, right? So when you did hear that it was coming, did you have concerns about how the market would affect your business?
I love the idea of, I love farmers markets personally. So it'd be like saying we're going to put a beach in front of your restaurant.
Right.
I love the beach. I'd be like, great,
Yeah.
But, it definitely, it makes you a little bit nervous.
Sure.
You own a business. How is it going to impact my business? I mean,
Right.
that's the question. And I see opportunity there.
Which is good because you're a guy that sees opportunity.
Well,
so I mean that
visibility,
better,
right?
Sure.
I mean, just that in itself.
Yeah.
People are going to come to the farmers market. Maybe they've never been to Waypoint Public before. Maybe they've never, been on this corner. There's an opportunity for them to see us. That's a great thing.
Right. That's how we usually try to let business owners know what's happening. Is we're going to bring a lot of people to your doorstep.
Right.
Rising tide floats all boats. So,
Absolutely.
hopefully everybody's going to benefit from
Absolutely. And so that's great. But you also just worry, is it gonna take people away from what I'm doing? I think the bigger, probably, I think maybe the biggest challenge is sort of the congestion that it creates, or the challenge. I won't say parking, because I think we're fortunate enough to have a parking garage right next to the farmers market.
Good. I was going to ask you, do you get pushback from customers about the on-street parking that is there when there are not tents in those spaces?
It's such a small number of parking spaces, really, at the end of the day, that I can't think that has a negative impact. But I do think maybe some of the congestion in the area, if there's anything that might draw somebody or prevent somebody from going to that spot at that point in time, it might be that it's a little bit more crowded, or I can't, I'm confused as to where I'm supposed to go because I can't turn left and I can't, that kind of stuff. I don't think parking's really I don't.
And the tents are arranged so there's a big opening in front of your door, right? There's no tents directly in front of your door.
Yeah, that's hit or miss.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's hit or miss, I would say. I think that it could be done maybe a little bit better in that way.
Okay.
I think if there is, if there's an opportunity, and I don't run farmers markets, so I don't know a lot of the complexities and issues that you guys.
There is a challenge. When we were there, we were trying to be really careful to leave a big space, like 40 to 60 feet in front of your door, so that it wouldn't obstruct it. At the same time, there's a whole thing about if Americans walk more than 17 linear feet without human contact, they have to make a decision. Are they going to keep going, or are they going to turn around and go away? Yeah. And so leaving that big space open is bad for the vendors in terms of, are we going to pull people into the market? And your door is very close to the corner where people enter the market, so it is tricky. But you're saying you're not getting that clearance anymore?
No, we're not getting that clearance. But I think that that's one opportunity that I see, and you just kind of nailed the potential issue with what I would suggest. But I think creating sort of some connection to the market and the front door of an establishment, is an opportunity to sort of create, a pathway, like you said. I mean, people are, we're animals.
Yeah.
I mean, we're kind of like following the herd. What
definitely
direction?
have farmers markets too. I see that a lot. It's like someone takes a right. Okay, the person
let's go
right.
Let's go. Or we're going to stop here. Oh, hey, let's stop here. So I get that, it probably does create some challenges. You start putting gaps in there and other things. It messes people up.
I almost wonder if it'd be good to put an empty tent right in front of your space with a Waypoint Public banner. So, let's stop into this tent. Oh, this leads to a restaurant.
It's a magic tent.
It's a magic tent. It's like the wardrobe in that.
I like that. I may actually take you up on that. Thank you very much. There is my first good idea. It's not mine. I'll write it down.
But you guys have been supportive of the market. I know that. I remember, because I was there when that market moved, there being some challenges with. One of the things that's always an adventure at farmers markets is we have a certain amount of vendors that need generators that have to have power, and we're in front of your restaurant. We're in front of a preschool there that's got kids on mats at that time of day as the market's setting up. They want a generator running and with fumes and noise and that kind of thing. And I remember that we worked with you and Rich we actually put an extra.
We added an outlet.
We added some amperage and things to your storage space outside so that we could plug in there for Green Fix and those guys. So that not all restaurants cooperate with that, and that was awesome that you guys worked with the market that way.
I don't. I mean, it's again. I love the market. I love the community aspect of the market. I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer as it relates to being part of it, and supporting it. But everything requires some level of maneuvering and trying to figure out how does this work, for everybody, right?
Well, compromise and creativity. Yeah.
It's definitely a balance, I think, for sure. So when you guys are at the market, I know, Justin, you're out there shopping and doing menu creations with the farmers' goods that you have there. Can you tell us about like some interactions that you've had with particular farmers or vendors, or how does that work as a chef connecting with them?
So on my side of things, it's basically a chef's dream to have a farmer's market right outside the front door,
Save the travel time.
The big thing for me is making sure that what we're doing in our restaurant is unique. And having that farmer's market and using products from the market is something that nobody else is really doing. That product in front of our door, bringing it inside, is going to be a different product than you're going to get from a restaurant down the street. So that's our big thing. So when I walk the market, I look for things that are really in season, that are unique. Whether it's we're getting into heirloom tomato season, okay, so I need to start this conversation with some of the farmers. When are they coming in? What do they look like? Is it a good season? Are we going to have an abundance? Is it going to be short? And these conversations happen every Thursday, just walking around. And I'm kind of getting to the point now where I'm walking down the street. It's like, hey, Justin, come over here, check this out.
Good.
Hey, Justin, just come over here, and it's fun, and I started some relationships with some farmers. I've gone and checked out their farm and looked at everything, at what they have. And
which farms have you had?
Indian Summer Farms is one of the big ones.
I love them.
Three Sons Farm. We've been using a lot of their eggs for brunch. We've been bringing in their whole chickens, breaking them down, making fried chicken, all kinds of fun stuff. So the big thing for me is starting the conversation. Hey, I have a restaurant around the corner here. We use a lot of stuff. I'm not just buying a pound of tomatoes and a pound of zucchini. I'm buying 30 pounds, 40 pounds of this stuff. So to talk to these people and then come up with an agreement on a deal. I can't spend $6 a pound on zucchinis. Because I have to run a business as well. So starting that communication and saying, hey, at the end of the day, at the end of the farmer's market, if you have product left over, come knock on my door, show me what you got. And we can work a deal from there as well.
That's probably like perfect for the farmers too, I would think. Like ideal situation to have a place, like a restaurant that's going to utilize what they have left over or what's in abundance in season, and they know it's kind of like a guaranteed buy. They bring it to the market. Do they bring you have you noticed, do they bring more in boxes just for you, or are you buying what they're bringing anyways?
It started that way. It started to get into calling me the day before, saying, hey, Justin, I've got this, I've got that. I do have red, beautiful cherry tomatoes that I want to bring you. Would you like some? And I'll sell it to you at a great price. Of course. Of course I want to purchase that stuff. Of course I want sweeter tomatoes than the restaurant down the street has. So that benefits us as well, and as long as it's affordable and it makes us look good and we can make a profit off it as well, then it's great. It's a win-win situation.
Well, and even if they're giving you a discount, so they're not making quite what they would make selling to a consumer, they're still probably getting more from you than they get if they sell to a distributor who has to add its own profit on top of that before they give you a wholesale
price.
Cutting out the
middleman.
So buying direct from farmers puts so much more money in the farmer's pocket.
Exactly. And like I said, purchasing 20 pounds of cherry tomatoes is awesome. That's probably what a farmer might do in a whole day at a farmer's market.
Definitely. I think that's our feedback from farmers have been. It's so nice when there's a chef that's close by that's regularly shopping, because I know that this is going to go somewhere at the end of the day. And I think farmers, the hardest part is packing up after a market and putting away a bunch of produce that they know is not going to last, or they didn't sell for the day. So just having that kind of relationship with chefs, I think is so important, because you get your regular customers and we'll buy for our families, so we're buying, a lot of produce, but it's obviously not comparing to someone who's shopping for a whole restaurant. So
especially on hot days where your radishes aren't going to last till the end of the day, your lettuces, stuff like that. Exactly.
We're more than happy to take that stuff and we'll be able to use it, no problem.
So what's the best way for them to kind of do that with you? Is it calling you the day before? That's really helpful, because I know some people that are just getting started.
It is. I think a big part of it, and I've been a chef for 10 years, and I've never had a farmer come knock on my door. And I think
interesting.
I think
would you like them to?
I would love it. I would love it. And,
farmers, are you listening?
Right? Especially with San Diego County, we're so gifted with the weather we have and the farmers and the quality of product.
Season.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So starting that communication with us, I think, is it's key to making us as chefs better and producing the best quality possible.
Yeah, and then that all really reflects like on the whole restaurant, and then all your customers are just getting that benefit. I feel like it's a nice
Exactly. So just
circular
starting the
thing.
communication. I mean, just walk in the restaurant. I'm not. No chef's gonna turn a farmer down trying to sell them produce. It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's exactly what we want.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's just starting that line of communication. I mean,
See, I don't think farmers know that. I think they feel
Right.
like if they
Intimidated
show up,
or-
you're gonna push them out of the kitchen and say,
No,
I'm
it's
busy,
never-
leave me alone.
yeah.
So
So like your prices are too high or something. I think the farmers feel intimidated a little bit.
They shouldn't be. They shouldn't be intimidated at all. I mean, a typical chef calls a distributor the day before they need stuff, and they get delivered produce that everybody else is getting.
sure.
So having somebody walk in your door and try and sell you something that's better at a reasonable price, you can't say no.
Yeah, exactly. Do you use any other products besides produce at the market? Have you used like...
I purchase eggs.
Okay.
So I purchase eggs for our brunch on the weekends, on
Yeah.
Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah, and you said chicken, but
Chicken.
jam or hummus or any of that. kind of
Not
stuff.
necessarily.
Yourself.
Just because
Yeah.
we're a from scratch
Right.
kitchen.
Seasoning.
I mean,
You're making
I
all
can
that
make
stuff.
that stuff.
Sure.
If I were to make pickles, I'd look for cucumbers. If I'm
Right.
making jam, I'm looking for fresh strawberries.
Absolutely.
Got
yeah.
it.
So at least for me personally, not necessarily. Spices is a great one. There's a
yeah.
gentleman that sells spices on the weekend that they're
Yeah.
super fresh and
Yeah.
vibrant and
Price smidge.
Yeah.
better quality than I were to buy anywhere else. So
Sure.
Yeah.
And they'll do custom blends for you if you're.
Oh,
if you're talking
exactly.
smidge,
Yeah,
so that's
exactly.
great.
Exactly.
Do you, when you create a dish and you're using farmers from the farmers market, do you call out the farms on your menu? Do you have a menu that prints regularly, or are they all done in advance?
We do. We do run specials on the weekends, and I will call people out.
And do you think your customers find that important? Is that a marketing
From what I've
advantage
seen
for you?
recently, yes. It's all how we word things on the menu. I mean, I can go back to the Three Sons fried chicken, right?
Right.
If I just said fried chicken with potato salad and chimichurri, it wouldn't sell as well as if I were to say locally grown from Ramona, Three Sons farm, pasture raised,
Right.
and then we end up selling out in the first 2 days.
So you are seeing a customer awareness that
I've recently seen
fresh
it,
ingredients make a
and
difference.
I've
That's
been
good.
working on it a lot as to word it better to showcase the farm,
Right.
and it's been working great.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good.
Do you ever mention like the market, like North Park, Thursday Market, Farmer Goods, or just to kind of tie in like the market to it too? Because I know a lot of restaurants will use a distributor to source from local farms, which is
Right.
really great. But I think sometimes customers are like, oh, you actually go to the market right here. It's right outside your door. You're shopping there. Or,
Right. We do showcase a Thursday cocktail, farmers market cocktail.
okay, yeah, that's right.
So we'll go out there and we'll grab quick fruit, and we can come up with a quick cocktail.
Yeah.
It's a little difficult on the food side just because I can't come up with the
day,
farmers
yeah.
market's
Yeah.
at 3:00.
Right.
Yeah.
My rush is at 5. I don't have a whole lot of time to get out there and do that, but it definitely works for the cocktail program.
But that's a good thing because I think some restaurants are like just so overwhelmed by the idea of trying to like source from a farmer's market because of needs for prepping or like
Right.
preparing a menu or marketing, some new menu item. But I think a cocktail or like some kind of beverage is a really good way to start for restaurants.
That was something that we specifically, probably about halfway through North Park Farmers Market,
Yeah.
realized. One, we were losing business. We could look at our trends, and we were losing business on Thursdays.
Oh, interesting.
We actually, year over year, since we started the market, since the market started looking in about 2 years, we had lost about probably 15 to 20% revenue on Thursday evenings, and that was after adjusting for any other declines in revenue.
Things that were happening.
So one thing, I called a meeting with Brian, who runs the market.
Right.
I said, hey, I'm getting involved more in the conversation now.
Yeah.
And I'd like to get your thoughts on how can we work together. And actually, it was Brian's idea. He said, one of the things that we can't offer at a farmer's market are beverages, alcoholic beverages.
Yeah.
And we found in lots of different places that, that's the one thing that people will seek out side of the market.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so,
sure. And the way you are, I mean, you have that garage
Yeah,
door
we're
that
right
opens.
there.
You can
We're
sit
wide
there and
open.
watch the
Yeah,
market.
absolutely.
Cocktail.
You still get to
People watch.
participate in the
Yeah.
market, at some level, and
Right.
Yeah.
you can enjoy your drink and and then go out and do your shopping or grab your bite and come back for another one or not or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did. We did that, and I can't, honestly, I haven't looked at the numbers, so I don't have any data. But it's another way that we can participate, and it is something that we can turn pretty quickly. I mean,
Yeah.
we can, as Justin alluded to, we can go out there and grab something and make a fresh cocktail, and make that part of the market.
And I would imagine right after the market, you see some farmers and vendors
Yeah,
taking
we
advantage
try.
of those fresh
Yeah,
cocktails.
we try and get them in there.
It's actually it's great you brought that up. 'Cause, one night, oh man, it must have been 8:30 at night, and I'm getting ready to take off, and sure enough, here comes like 7 or 8 farmers into the restaurant, and I'm like, oh my gosh, guys, we have to take care of these people. Like they give us all this stuff at a great price. Like we got to give back a little bit. So they sat down, and I gave them 6 or 7 course dinner. I just took
Oh,
care
that's
of them.
great.
It was,
Oh,
it
that's
was
so
awesome.
nice.
And they were really
Yeah.
thankful.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, they're always
Yeah.
really impressed, and they love seeing their own produce on somebody's menu.
Right, exactly.
So exciting.
That was the whole thing. It's like, wow, it's Thursday. We just got all this stuff in. Let's take a little bit from each farm and make a dish out of it. It'd be pretty fun. So.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
Justin, were you on Top Chef?
I was not.
Because that was a requirement for chefs for a while at Waypoint, right?
I know.
It was. No,
We're
it
making
wasn't.
phone calls right now.
The first time we had a Top Chef contestant, she opened the
Amanda,
restaurant
yeah.
with
That's
me.
right.
Amanda, awesome chef. Love Amanda. But the second time, and that wasn't on purpose, but she had been on Top Chef. But when Rich showed up, and I met Rich, and Rich is an awesome guy. I love Rich. He and I, we hit it off the minute we met.
Yeah.
And I find out he was on Top Chef. I was like, oh my god,
They're just gonna look like
I'm
somebody
like,
that
this
just hires.
isn't good,
Yeah.
man. I don't need another. So yeah, I found this guy
That's
just
all
on the
this one.
yeah.
Was that the first thing he asked you? Have you been on Top Chef? Because we're not
Right.
doing that again.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna be known as
Exactly.
like that restaurant owner that only
Yeah.
hires
No.
celebrity
I
chefs.
couldn't believe it. I mean, oh god.
It works either way, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just so we get kind of like some hard information to our listeners. So some things that market managers can do to help build and sustain a good relationship with their food related business neighbors is kind of invite you guys into the conversation a little, like make way for the front door as much as they can, help connect you with farmers if there's any kind of roadblocks there, or maybe suggest to their farmers to go knock on your door, and then kind of facilitate like marketing that cocktail. Like I know North Park Thursday Market does a good job. They say, hey, Waypoint Public has a farmers market cocktail, and they push that marketing out on their channels, which is good because then it just kind of comes back to you guys. And then doing the demos and things. I don't know if you felt that benefit for Waypoint. I know it was great for the market, and shoppers were like, "Oh, yeah, this restaurant is doing great things."
I think it helps.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no harm there, and we should be doing that. I think the co-promotion is one that I do. I agree. I think 100%. Just somehow connecting them into the market, right? I think is it shows that we want to work together, and it gets the word out to more people, and we have a responsibility too as a business owner that's next to it. I mean, the farmers market is, I mean, Justin's use of the market and the collaboration between a restaurant like ours and what we're doing and farmers, direct farmers at our front door is an awesome thing.
Yeah.
You can't take that for granted. And we have a responsibility too, I think, as business owners to get out there and do more to be part of that market.
Yeah.
But I think
Specific
working together.
marketing. Stop by for a cocktail after your
Yeah,
shop.
exactly. And also, I mean, I think the demos are great. We've talked about, we're a family-friendly restaurant. For us, we've talked about, and we just haven't done it, but we've talked about setting up a booth too. Like you said, it could be the wardrobe into fantasy land.
Sure.
But it could also just be like a cool little family sit down rest place or something, or we have some volunteers that come into the restaurant sometimes and read books with kids. We could do something like that. There's ways that we could also promote our business out there in a way that that kind of matches who we are.
On our intent side and vendor 101 side, we do classes for people that want to get started in farmers markets, and one of the questions is always, well, what do you need? If you've got too much granola or you've got too much hummus, what do you need at the farmers market? What kind of booth would be a hit? And we've always thought, because especially now when there's a whole generation of people that doesn't know how to cook, kind of in between the really young ones and the old folks, there's this whole group that's just always gone out. And I think a booth that had a chef in it where you could buy your vegetables and things and then come over and that chef would chop it and prep it up so that you could just take it home and toss it in the saute pan would be a huge hit.
Like a chef booth.
I just got my second best idea. Here we go.
Justin, how's your time?
Because you need something else to do, I'm sure.
Or you get like a protege help you out. They wear their Waypoint shirt.
I think that would be really popular because a lot of people buy stuff because it's beautiful. They look at the farm stand. It's like, oh, I've got all this terrific stuff, and then you end up with food waste because they don't know what to do with it.
Absolutely. Well, you go to Whole Foods or a place like that, and they've already got the onion diced for you.
Exactly.
I'm kind of a person. I go and get my spring mix that's already chopped and washed and put in a bag. And if they're out and they're trying to sell me a head of lettuce, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. What am I supposed to do with that? How long is it going to take? I need to go chop that up for me. Just that kind of booth stream, I guess. Farmers are very
It's good
confused.
to have Bridget on the team because she identifies with that one big demographic of shoppers, and so she helps us think through what the perspective is.
And I'm the farmer's market shopper that shops the market, and then I have a big bag of food that I could go home and cook, but then I see Waypoint, and I'm like, I could go for a burger right now. I'll get my kids some mac and cheese, and I just go have dinner at Waypoint, and my groceries will wait another day.
I'm looking for you.
Exactly.
That's right.
And there's a lot of her.
Honestly, if you had a sign that was cocktails, just look for the moms that are shopping the farmer's market with their little kids because they need a cocktail.
Well, and Waypoint's so perfect. I mean, it just always cracks me up that you guys have just such a huge beer and cocktail program and a really cool kids area.
That's why we do all of our, honestly, all of our school meetings, our PTC meetings and things like that, we do mom's night out. We're always let's just go to Waypoint, because it's just so easy to have a good time, and the kids go over in the corner. Yeah, so it's good. Well, I think that's important. I think we really recognize the businesses that play nice with the market.
Right.
It's we've had situations where businesses are really pushed back against the market a lot, and we understand that,
and a lot of times it's funny. It's not anybody that would be threatened in any way. So, there's a certain element of, at some markets in particular, there's a lot of prepared food. There's a falafel guy, and there's Indian food, and there's gumbo, and there's, all kinds of things you can eat. And when you're right next to a restaurant, that can be a little bit awkward. But we actually, our most hostile neighbor at any of our markets is a law firm. So it's not like we're doing anything that competes with them. Their driveway's looped. People can get in and out, but they just don't like the market.
So
it's
hostile.
so weird.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it just makes it difficult. We can't do a farmer's market. Farmers markets don't occur on a piece of property. We have to do it on the street, and so and it's a community event, and especially with our markets, and I know a lot of other markets work like this. It's a benefit for the business improvement district, so it's a fundraiser for the neighborhood where your business is. So it's a very it can be a great relationship.
It's a community thing.
Well, it's
hating a farmer's market, it's kind of like saying, "Oh, we hate Santa Claus." I don't understand how it works.
And that's a great point, and that's the way I think I viewed it from day one. It is a community. It's a community. Enrichment. It's something that makes your community better. And even looking at the data that says that my sales on a Thursday night are lower than they were on Thursdays before that, it's still not telling to the impact that it's having on my business, the positive impact that it can be having on my business outside of those hours.
People that see you on Thursday night
and come on Friday night or whatever.
Sunday
You can't even begin to try and figure that out. So that doesn't count. So I think it's something that we're a community restaurant. We're a community driven restaurant. It's something that no matter what, I'm happy that it's there.
Good.
There's always opportunities, right? And I think that it's a good conversation.
Yeah.
How do we coexist, and how do we help each other, be better for the community,
Absolutely.
individually and as a unit. So
Yeah, and that communication I think is really great
absolutely
for marketing purposes
Absolutely.
and for any issues
Yep.
that are coming up, or
Yep.
just keep it going. So
Yeah, and to get the moms that are
Yeah.
shopping with their kids.
That's
in the
right.
Yeah.
You want to set down that
Yeah.
heavy grocery bag
Yeah.
and put the kids in the corner with the
Yeah.
puzzles and try one of those fresh market cocktails.
yeah. I've literally done that. I have pictures of me
Yeah.
with my kids, and they're eating mac and cheese and fries, and I'm just, we're just having dinner. It's just a nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like your setup is kind of like the perfect market neighbor.
Right.
But we have other market neighbors in Little Italy. We have a great restaurant that has a seating right there, and people sit and eat, and they watch the market go on, and it's just, it feels good.
Yeah.
So just keep that relationship working.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
All right. Well, thanks so much, guys. So at the end of our podcast, we always do a little quick question of the week.
Okay.
So that kind of pertains to what we're up to here. So we were trying to figure out what to say, but I think we're gonna go with what's the best dish you've made or that you've had with produce from a local market, local farm.
It's a great
Can you
question.
think of something?
Justin.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go out there and say Carlsbad strawberries.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, we made a great ricotta toast with fresh strawberries and balsamic vinegar and
Nice.
charred
Why do you
fennel and
use it?
arugula. So
Yeah.
That was excellent. I
It
still
was
remember
Probably
that
from
one.
Rodney
Yeah.
Corona Farms.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Corona,
Rodney
yeah.
Corona Farms.
exactly.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
That sounds so
I like
good.
when they get unique too, because it's like, oh, I have fruit. I'll make like a fruit salad. It's like, no, like go like use it somewhere
Right,
else. So that's
right.
a really unique way to do it.
Yeah, and we got different strawberries. So we got green strawberries, which are underripe strawberries.
Yeah.
We pickled those.
I was gonna say, if
threw
you
on
pickled
the
those
salad,
are
and
great.
Oh, so
we
good.
even charred them on the grill and sliced them really thin. They're great.
Yum.
Utilizing
Awesome.
different parts of the plant.
Yeah. John, can you recall a?
It probably was a cocktail.
Yeah.
There you go.
I like it.
That's
Sure
good
was
too.
Yeah,
good. It was so good. I don't remember.
No, I actually do remember that strawberry dish very, very well, and that was kind of early in Justin's days. He needs to continue to
Strawberry season.
strive for
Yes,
those
they're coming out.
strive for those big achievements.
Yeah, all right.
That was good.
Yeah.
Kat, what's a good
Uh,
dish or something? That
I
you've
a
had?
lot of times for breakfast take tatsoi from Indian Summer Farm
great.
actually and chop it up and scramble it with some eggs, so that's awesome. But it's cherry season now, and so we're going to be doing the famous chicken cherry salad. So you kind of make chicken
Sounds
salad
great.
like you would anyway, and you throw some chopped up celery in it, and you throw some cherries. I just learned the cleverest way to pit cherries. You probably have a cherry pitter, being a chef.
Yeah.
I do not, but I do have a chopstick and a bottle.
Oh, wow.
And I've
Yeah,
figured
that's
out a
great
new
idea.
method that's good for pitting cherries. But yeah,
another
little
recipe.
cherries in chicken salad. Do a little yogurt dressing
That
from the
sounds
yogurt guy at
delicious.
the market. Yeah, really
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I went to a cocktail bar in Phoenix a couple years ago. I'm from Phoenix, but go back and visit. They're not open anymore. I forget. Oh no, they are. The Merc Bar.
Oh,
At the
is it?
Esplanade. Yeah, by the Esplanade. And they were sourcing from a local farm with jalapenos. And this is, I know everyone does it now, but this was like the first time I had seen it where they put jalapenos in like a vodka. It was like a martini with jalapenos. So I was a little worried about it, but it was so good. And the jalapenos were, like fresh.
Right.
I feel like they just taste different. Everything does from the markets, but it was just such a nice flavor. And I'm not a really like spicy person. I usually go for the mild, but that was the perfect heat, and I will always remember that cocktail. It was so good.
nice.
Yeah, with those
That's
farm fresh jalapenos. So
Great.
it was good.
Fresh tastes best.
Yep.
All
All
right.
right, guys. Well, thanks so much for chatting with us.
Absolutely.
We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Yeah.
Did we miss anything? Is there anything that farmers market people need to know? Restaurant neighbors.
Come to Waypoint Public.
All right, there
Yeah.
you go. I think that's it. Good
Shop
job.
and eat.
Yeah.
Shop and eat.
Shop and eat. Farm to fork.
Awesome.
Great.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for listening today. Please leave us a review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to this podcast, and tell us how you liked today's episode. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss the next one. For more farmers market tips, subscribe to our weekly newsletter at intensebusiness.com. Remember, that's INTENTS business.com, and follow us on Instagram at Intense Business. Tell us what else Intense Business can do for you by taking our survey this week. You can do that anonymously or introduce yourself for a chance to win Intense swag and conference registration. Find this month's survey on our website or at that'sintense.com. This podcast was produced by Intense Business, where passion meets profit. Today's episode was recorded by Bridget Myers and Adam Samaha and edited by Justine Marzoni Mead. Original music by David Mead. Thanks to our guests, John and Justin of Waypoint Public and San Diego Markets.